Okay, this is very important. You need to do this before the update goes live. If you take a look at the patch notes, as per balance adjustments, these are the as per balances. Players who have upgraded, very important, upgraded dimension espers will receive rewind items as compensation, and then blah blah blah, right? Rewind items can rewind everything. So if you take a look, this is my PTR server. I only have TA's rewind item because I upgraded her before the update went live on PTR server, whereas I should have gotten rewind items for every single esper that got balance changes. You see, I only got one. If you take a look at my box, I already have Tever and everything else, but they didn't give me any rewind tokens because I didn't upgrade Tever when the update launched. So that means I only upgraded Tever during the update, so I didn't get any rewind tokens. The same with Raven. As you can see, Raven is level 1, so if I didn't upgrade my Raven, I wouldn't get the rewind token when the update goes live. So this is very important that you should know. So if you have any of this unit, right, the Esper balance adjustments, any of this unit, Raven, Tever, TA, Fatum Sisters, Elliot, Bonnie, Luoyan, Aurelius, give them at least one level or at least one experiment so that you can get this rewind item. If you don't give them anything, if you leave them at level 1, 0 ascension, 0 skill ups, they will not get this rewind item. And then the next thing that you should be doing is to try out skill ups. TA, the first one. Depending on how you use her, you don't need skill up or you need skill up on her. The way I'm using my TA, I don't need any skill ups on her because I'm using her as my speed cleave unit. So her cooldown doesn't matter. Her damage is not really even that good, so it's up to 90 to 105%. It's really nothing. And then her S2 doesn't need skill up. It doesn't go, the chance doesn't go up. It's already at 100%. The only thing that goes up is the damage multiplier and the cooldown reduce. Even her S1 is now already at 100% chance. If you use a TA as speed cleave unit, you need 0 skill ups on her. Okay, so if you are using TA as a control unit, which she can be very good in now because she gains a shit ton of AP with her second skill, then you do need skill ups on her. But keep in mind, you don't need max skill ups. Yo, post edit GG easy here. So I made a mistake. With TA, if you're using her as a controller, then you do want her S2 to be maxed out along with her S3, because her cycle is S3, S2, S1, S1, and then S3, because her S3 has a 3-turn cooldown once maxed out. So the cycle is S3, S2, S1, S1, S2. I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, the cycle's a bit weird, but yeah. Okay, so the next one is Raven. You really want her S3 and S2 to be maxed out. There's two ways that you can use Raven: in a speed cleave team and in a control team, because this one can constantly do damage for you as long as you strip a buff. So for example, if your other unit strips at least one buff, this is going to go down 1 turn, and it's gonna be very fast for her to cycle her skill 2. That's why you want it to be fully skilled up. So yeah, her S3 -1 cooldown, very good. So give her skill ups, try to max out her S3 and S2 before the update goes live. Her S1 is not really that important. You won't use this one that many times anyway, so just S3 and S2. Tever, 100%. Even if you see all of this is just attack, Tever, where it's at is the overkill damage. So you want his S3 to be maxed out. You want as much overkill damage as you possibly can get, and he gets a ton of damage increase from his S3 skill ups. He goes from 280 to 330%. You don't need the cooldown reduce, because when he kills an Esper, he resets his passive, because he gains the Neko Sense, and then when he gets his turn, he resets all of his skills. So you don't need the cooldown increase. His S1 is, you don't really need it, but I would advise you guys to even go for the S1, because if you fail to kill with the S3, then he's going to be stuck with his S1 for 5-6 turns, which means he's going to be spamming his S1. So you want his S1 to be a lot of damage as well. And next unit is Elliot. Yes, Elliot is that good now. He deserves the skill up. You want to skill up his S3 so that you can reduce the cooldown. Even though when he gets hit, he reduces his cooldown, you still want him to be as low cooldown as possible. So you want his S3 to be maxed out to reduce the cooldown. And if you have him at R2, very important, only at R2 you max out his S2 as well. If you don't have him at R2, S2 is not really that worth it to skill up. So R0, try to skill up his S3 to maximum and then leave the S2 alone. But if you have him at R2, S3 maxed out, S2 maxed out. Now the Fatum sisters, I still don't think they're worth scaling up unless you have them at R2, because at R2 they now can revive. Before R2, I don't think they're worth it. They're still not that good. Their kit is very lackluster. Before R2, 0 skill ups. Unless you have spare skill ups and you want to try to max out their S3, then go for it. But if you do have them at R2, they become very good because now they can revive with a invincibility buff. This one has invincibility once you ascend her. If you have it at R2, try to skill up the S3 to maximum level 5 and her S2. Her S1 you can leave it alone, and that's about it. The rest are 4 stars. So now I'm gonna go to my main account, try my luck with Sever. If I can save 1 legendary Blimon, I am good, because right now I want to max out his S3 only to level 6, but his S1 I want it to be fully leveled up. So let's try out my luck. I have 35. If you don't have a lot of legendary Blimons, I would advise maybe against leveling up his S1 and just try to max out his S3. But if you do have excess Blimons like me, then I would advise to try and go for S1 as well. Okay, this is very good. Hopefully I don't get the level 7 and I can get 2 more to his level 1 or his S1. If I can, that's the perfect scenario. Oh, okay, I missed it. Okay, now I'm just gonna rewind him when the update goes live, and then I'm gonna try my luck once again, because this is the worst luck that I can get. The next unit is TA. Like I said, I'm not using her as a controller, but rather as a speed cleave unit, so I don't need any skill ups on her. But if you do use her as a control unit, then you definitely want her S3 and S2 to be maxed out. I do have Fatum sisters at R3, so I will try my luck with 8 legendary Blimons, and hopefully I can get both skills to be maxed out. They are still a bit lackluster before R0, before R2, because they can't. The kit is still the same. They're just AP controlling, which is, oh my god, this is like the worst RNG. Whatever, let me just try it out. Below R2, they're still kind of lackluster, so I wouldn't advise you guys to skill them up if you don't have them at R2. Wait, oh my god, I actually saved 2 legendary Blimons right here. Okay, so nice. I managed to max out her S3, their S3 and S2. That's very good. Okay, the final one that I have, if you do have a Raven, then you should skill her up as well. But I don't have a Raven, so I'm gonna give it to Elliot, and hopefully I can go everything into his S3, because I don't have him at R2, so I don't really care about his second skill. His R2 makes his second skill reduce cooldown on every single hit, which means he reduces cooldown on the enemy by 3 turns. So if you have him at R2, definitely try to max out his S2 as well. But I only have him at R0, so I'm gonna go hopefully everything into the S3. If I don't get everything onto the S3, then I'll just try my luck on the rewind. And yeah, this is the worst RNG. I'm not even gonna bother with the last one, because this is just fucking terrible. Everything went to the S1. You definitely don't want that. Yeah, if you leave them at level 1, like my Dona right here, with no skill ups, with no ascension, with no levels, then you will not get the rewind item. The rewind item lasts for 15 days, so even if you don't want to use them, just give them 1 level so that you can get the rewind item and try your luck at skill ups. Yeah, that's about it. Ciao.